Okay, guys, I'm going to continue my lesson on clubs and societies. I hope you all didn't have any problem doing the previous questions, but if you do, please remember to post it in Google Classroom. Okay, let's just recap. I want to do a comparison for you, the difference in the terms between a normal business and a club and societies accounts. We have done this last week. This is just a recap. So in a normal business, you would have income statement, but in the club and society, you don't have an income statement. It's called a income and expenditure account. Okay, and then in a normal business, you would have your cash book, but in the club and society, you would call it a receipts and payment account. And then in a normal business, in the income statement, you would call profit or loss when they make money or they lose money. But in the club and society, you would call it a surplus for profit and deficit for loss. And the lastly, in a normal business, because it's for profit, their purpose is to sell and buy or provide services to make money. But in a club and society, because we say that their main purpose is not to make profits, but their main purpose is to provide service to their members. So because of that, they don't have capital, they don't have investors, they only have accumulated fund. And this accumulated fund is really the surplus from year to year that is kept in the club and society, and it grows to become the accumulated fund. So if in the question for this topic they give you the assets and the liabilities, they ask you to calculate the accumulated fund, you just use the simple. So this is actually your capital, right? So accumulated fund equals to asset minus liability. So if I give you these two figures for the club, you can calculate the accumulated fund. Okay, in this lesson, I want to go on now to talk about how to get some of the information for clubs and societies. You would find that most of the questions in IGCSE, they would ask you to do income and expenditure account, and they would ask you to do the statement of financial position for a club or society. And oftentimes they will give you a receipt and payment account, or they will tell you what was paid, what was received. And then they will also give you some information on the subscription. How much is outstanding as at beginning of the year, how much is outstanding as at end of the year. From there, most of the time you got to work out your subscription figure for the income and expenditure account. Remember, your subscription income is not, subscription income is not on receipt basis. It's on accrual basis. So this is very important. So you cannot just look at the subscription figure in the receipts and payment account and then put that same figure into the income and expenditure account. You got to work out what is the subscription income due for the year. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. Let's say if I give you a question on a club. Okay, let's call this a dance club. Okay, and during the year, they received subscription income of, let's say, 10,000. Then as at year end, okay, there are members who are owing their subscription fee of 5,000. Okay, this 5,000 figure could be 100 people, $50 each. Okay, and then there could also be people who have paid their subscription in advance. Okay, so paid in advance, let's say is 2,000. Let's say this is $50. 40 members paid $50 in advance. Okay, so we record the total figure. So your subscription income account will look like that. To show you a simple example, let's say my year end is December 31st, 2019. When you receive the subscription of 10,000, what would you do? You would credit subscription income account, because this is an income account, debit receipt and payment account, right? Because you receive money. So okay, or you can also put in the word bank, it's okay. Then how do you account for this figure and how do you account for this figure in the subscription income account? Remember your accrual and prepayment topic? Let's just refresh. Now, this one that is owed by members of 5,000, it's due this year. They should be paying it. So whatever that is due, they should be paying it. It should be on the same side as your bank figure. And this will be your balance carry down. Whatever that was paid in advance, the 2,000 paid in advance, it doesn't relate to this year. It relates to next year. So we put on this side as a balance carry down figure. So you see there are two figures, one's balance carry down here, one balance carry down here, because there are some members who owe money, there are some members who paid in advance. Now if I were to balance this subscription account, okay, let's do our normal balancing. This side is 15,000. This side also 15,000. So 15,000 minus the 2,000, 13,000. And do you know what is this figure? This is actually your income and expenditure figure. All right, it makes sense, right? You have received 10,000 for this year. There are still members owing 5,000 for this year. Okay, so that's 15,000 that you have received. But out of the 15,000 that you received, 2,000 is actually for next year. So you minus that. That's why 13,000 is relating to this year. And this figure goes into your income and expenditure account. Okay, that is the rule on your balance carry down figure. But what about, so this balance carry down figure becomes, in the next period, your balance brought down figure of 2,000, and this side balance brought down 5,000. Now notice this is on the debit side. So when we are looking at the opening balance figure, the balance brought down figure, if it's on the debit side, it's an asset. Does it make sense? Why is it an asset? Because these people owe you money, just like your trade receivables. And this figure, it's on the credit side, meaning it's a liability. And why is it on this side? It's a liability because these people paid you in advance and you owe them to provide facility to them for next year. Okay, so if the question gives you information, you have to differentiate between according to the timeline. As at year end, what is owing by the members, what is paid in advance. As at beginning of the year, what is owing by the members, what is paid in advance. I will show you more when we look at the questions for today. Okay, so that is for subscription income. Next, I want to show you, again, this is I think something that you're already clear, but let me just recap. The question may also give you, remember we talk about clubs and societies, sometimes they have income statement inside. They may have a restaurant or a shop, or maybe hair salon. Different clubs have different things inside that are running for a profit. Okay, this is a business within the club or society, and you have to do the income statement for this business. And within this business, let's say it's a shop, they would buy and sell, so you would have to calculate what is the opening inventory, the purchases, and the closing inventory to get your cost of sales. Now when the question give you information, they may not tell you straight off what is the what is the purchases for the year. Instead, they will give you in the receipt and payment account what was paid for purchases. Let's say what was paid for purchases is 2,000. Okay, for the year 2019, what was paid for 2,000. Then the question may also give you, oh, your trade payables opening balance, that means as at 1st Jan 2019 is 500, and then your closing balance of trade payable as at 31st December 2019, let's say if it's 300. Okay, let's say the question gives you this information. Now, so they didn't give me what is the purchases, total purchases for the year. I know what is the cash purchases, but I don't know what is the total purchases, which consists of credit purchases and cash purchases. Or maybe let's put in one more information. Return inwards, return outwards, because this is purchases of, let's say, $50. Okay, if I have all this information, I can draw out my trade payables account. All right, I put in this figure. 2,000 was paid for purchases. Sorry, this one doesn't go into the trade payable account, but the other figures will go into the, okay, let me just recap here. This one can be a bit confusing. When I said paid for purchases, this means cash purchases, but the question may give you another information, paid to supplier during the year of 3,000. Okay, so can you just look through again? These are all the information given by the question. This is cash purchases. This is all the information that would affect your trade payable account. So now I start to put in the figures. Okay, so trade payable opening balance, January 1st, 2019, balance brought down 500. Okay, return outwards. If I have a return outwards, I will credit my return outwards account, debit my trade payable account. So return outwards 50. Okay, and then payment to supplier, it also comes here. Again, you credit bank, debit supplier, debit trade payable account. So this figure 3,000 should come here. And then my closing balance for trade payable. I know my opening balance should always be on the credit side because trade payable is a liability. So my balance carry down, the year-end figure should be on this side. Does it make sense? I hope you're following. And so if I were to balance the account, I know there is a missing figure here, and that would be my purchases, my credit purchases figure here, which I can then work it out when I balance the account. So this would be 3,350. This is also 3,350. I minus this 500, I get 2,850. Yep, that seems correct. So purchases is 2,850. So how much is my purchases figure to be put into the income and expenditure account for the club? Your total purchases would be your cash purchases, which is this 2,000, your cash purchases, this 2,000, and your credit purchases 2,850. So 2,000 plus 2,850, my total purchases in income and expenditure account is 4,850. Are you all clear? Okay, I think that's about it. I hope that this is clear. The question may also then ask you to use this same format to calculate the sales. Again, it's just the same method. If they give you all this information, except it is sales information, trade receivable information, return inwards information, you can draw up your trade receivable account and then calculate your total sales account. Now then, once you have your sales figure, your purchases figure, your subscription income, then you can do your income and expenditure account for the club. All right. Now I want you for today, do questions from your textbook. Hang on, I want you to do, just let me adjust this. Okay. I want you to do question 4 of your textbook. Okay, let me just look at question 4 and see whether I have anything to brief you. You have been given subscription figure, but remember, this is a receipts figure. It's just what you receive. There is additional information here. The club has 240 members. Annual subscription is $50. 8 members had not paid their subscription. So 8 members not paid their subscription. That means end of the year, what is owing is 8 times 50, 400. Then 10 members paid in advance. So the prepaid subscription as at end of the year is 10 times 50, 500. So you have to draw up your subscription account like what I did just now to get your total subscription for the year. Okay, then you have all these like general expenses accrued amounted to 30, rent accrued. These are just simple based on accrual basis. Whatever that's owing, that is due and payable, you have to add it into your what has been paid plus what is owing to get your income and expenditure figure. Okay, then this one is interest, you just have to calculate, and then depreciation. Okay, so this one you have to do the income and expenditure account and then statement of financial position. So do question 4 and then question 5. Question 5. Okay, question 5. Now this is a little bit more tricky. You got to pay attention to the timeline. Okay, clearly this is beginning of the year. This is end of the year. And question 5 also, they have a shop. So you have to do your shop income statement. What are the figures to include in your shop income statement? Clearly this is shop inventory. So that will be opening and closing inventory. Again, this subscription owing by members. You see, there is this at the beginning of the year, you have to put a balance brought down figure for this. And this is your balance carry down figure. That means don't have law. Like this one, subscription prepayment, don't have balance brought down, but balance carry down. Okay, got to study the figures properly. Now, how about things like, so let's see, competition, you have to show the income and expense from competition separately. Okay, so competition entrance fees minus competition prices to get the net profit from the competition. And then look at wages. You have this wages that goes into your shop income statement, but this one goes to your club income and expenditure. So study the figures properly before you start. Just do question 4, 5 and 6, and this would be due next Monday. So you can take 4, 5 and 6 and you can do it for tomorrow's lesson as well. So I will not be posting anything for tomorrow's lesson, but once everyone has submitted their homework, then next week I will discuss the answers for question 1 to 5 of textbook, and I will also post up more questions for you to practice. So we target to finish this club and society by next week. Thanks guys, have a good time.